I want whatever you guys are smoking right now.
Come on, Shane. OH.
Damn.
They're making me cry. On the inside, obviously.
Welcome to a terrible football show.
That's my quarterback and my teammate, man.
Ruins my fucking holiday every damn year.
You could thoroughly kiss my ass.
Fuck you, Shake.
Roll Tide. Have a good one, guys.
Oh,
Enjoy the show.
oh, yeah, he's got to go. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
It took Miami 4 overtimes to beat Virginia.
Leave me alone.
4 overtimes.
If you get that right, I will fly you out and take you to a game in Dallas of your fucking choice.
Ooh.
Oh, shit. OH.
Oh,
we
baby,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, he's successful at just giving his terrible opinions, so why can't I? It's a terrible football show after all. Welcome to a terrible football show, episode 61, second episode of season 3. I got Ricky in studio. All the boys are back. Shane is back from last week. Boys, how we doing? How we feeling this week? Mock draft 3.0s.
I'm on vacation.
That's right, on vacation. Always a good thing there. Shout out to that. That's why he's able to be in studio for this time. It's always a pleasure whenever he gets a chance to come down and be in studio. But what about you boys? Shane, Jacob, how we doing? How we feeling?
Long day at work. It was actually a really nice day out today, near 70s. And man, my body is not ready for this hot weather coming up.
Oh, I know.
At all.
Yeah, we're gonna have a blazing summer. I'm not looking forward to it either. I'm working outside with you, so I feel you. We're gonna have a long summer.
Absolutely.
You have a lot harder work than me, but we're both gonna be out there. You're just gonna be suffering more than me, but I'm gonna be suffering with you, buddy. Shane, what about you? Glad to have you back.
We can all agree that Ricky's probably the only one that works inside out of the 4 of us.
That's not true. I got to go outside of my car.
Yeah, see, he's gonna walk out to his car.
Now, every now and then I'll be in the warehouse, and the warehouse does not have AC in it, so.
Oh,
Yeah, so I do sometimes feel your pain, but yeah.
not to the extent.
Not to the
Yeah.
extent. No, not to the extent.
Oh man, this summer is going to be unbelievably hot, and I am not ready for it. But it is what it is.
Can't wait for fall and winter.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm already counting down. Honestly, vacation, a lot of great games, colder weather. I'm already ready for it. Football's back, obviously. Just bring back the fall, bring back the winter. We're all ready for it already. Just like we're all ready for mock draft 3.0s here today. I don't think it's tough to gauge how everyone's is going to be, if it's going to be super spicy across the board. I know last time we had some spiciness. I had a lot of movement happening in mine. Not as much today, but mine's one of those ones where the few things that I have are just like, excuse me? Like, what are you thinking right now? My title already kind of teases it. But yes, if you could, wherever you're listening to this or watching, make sure to like and follow. We'd appreciate that, as well as join the Discord. You can come chat with us. Check out Agent Inc. and buy a jersey. We'd appreciate that support. Link down in the description below. And you check out some Rogue Energy with the referral link down below as well. Promo code Sparky3 to get 10% off on that. We'd 100% appreciate that extra support. But we'll also we'll touch on some free agency stuff. There's still a lot of moves happening right now, obviously. A lot of big things happening across the board. You know, you guys just got a nice little trade here recently with Brandon Cooks. So shout out to that. I actually like that trade for you guys. I like that one quite a bit.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I think that's a hell of a trade. I'm here for it. Bears have still been very active, making a lot of moves. So I'm here for that. Shane, you're shopping Jerry Jeudy, so I guess shout out to that. You know, we'll see if the Broncos get what they want for him. They want a first-round pick. Yeah, good luck.
That's not happening.
Maybe a seventh round pick.
Honestly, I really like Jerry Jeudy. He was I think he was a top 15 receiver when he was doing his thing, and then plus when he actually had a quarterback that
knew how to throw.
Didn't like his frat parties.
Yeah.
And posse with him at all times.
Right. Yeah, and just kind of forgot how to play football.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But yeah, a lot of moves so far still here in free agency. A lot of news popping off across the board. You know, with pro days going on. Did you guys see what the USC pro day was looking like? Oh my God, What an embarrassment that was.
Yep.
Heavy rain, like the field is flooded, and like the report is like, hey, any 40-yard dash times that come out of this, don't take it, so much like, like, oh, that's a big knock, because apparently this blows me away because it's USC. The USC indoor facility is not, apparently they don't have an area large enough to run a 40-yard dash. Like, are you shitting me? So they have to run it outside. Even though everything's flooded over there. Like, are you shitting me?
And see, I've actually been on the USC campus. Long story short, my mother graduated from their online graduate program with therapy and all that crap.
Yeah.
But that's a nice campus. You would think they would have something.
Yeah.
And as rich tradition as they are with football, that is embarrassing. That's
the fact that your indoor facility, like practice facility they have, isn't long enough for a 40-yard dash is pathetic. Like, that's
my
pathetic.
alma mater, Bauxite High School, has something long enough for a 40-yard dash inside. I'm sure USC could afford it.
Yeah, I know. So they're gonna be running outside. I saw Cam Newton slinging it over at Auburn, but he's slinging it like 10 yards above the receiver. So shout out to that. Apparently there are not 32 motherfuckers better than him, as he said. I don't know. I mean, I feel like there could be other guys that could throw 10 yards above the wide receiver as well in the NFL, maybe even 15 yards above. That's better. So I'm just saying, Cam. I'm just saying. That his career is done there. But also shout out to the greatest quarterback in NFL history, Gardner Minshew, signing with the Colts. Colts have their guy. Yeah, this is it, man. Colts are going to the Super Bowl now, baby. Minshew mania, ready to run wild in Indy. I'm here for it.
It's gonna suck for Gardner Minshew to sit behind another rookie quarterback.
Very true.
No, just wait till my mock draft. I got a shocker there at the 4th pick.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
Colts are going all in on Gardner Minshew. Just watch. Mark my words.
Oh my gosh,
Mark
man.
my words.
Listen, Gardner Minshew will start preseason, and that's about it, man. Okay.
Yeah, and then they're gonna be like, "Wow, this guy is a superstar.
He looks like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite."
That's
man.
a compliment. I don't know what you're trying to
I
imply
love Uncle
here.
Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, but I'm just saying in general. Did you see the way he threw the football?
Yeah, like a freaking generational quarterback,
Oh,
like
Lord.
Gardner Minshew. Apparently, the Falcons are going to be hosting Calais Campbell, so that's also an interesting little note. Oh, the Panthers still making some moves too. They got Miles Sanders last week that we touched on, and now Adam Thielen as well. But shout out to the fact that Adam Thielen says that he feels like he win a Super Bowl in Carolina. That's a bold take. And he got calls from Denver and Dallas.
What is he smoking?
Dallas. He got a call from Dallas, a legitimate potential contender, and he thinks he has the best shot in Carolina.
Yeah, I want what he's smoking.
Like, what? I'm so confused. I love Adam Thielen, man. He's a great feel-good story, but I'm very confused by this. But no, I'm pretty pumped to hear you guys as 3.0s, and I'm looking forward to seeing if anyone else has anything happening with Lamar Jackson in their mock like I do, because it's the report right now that Lamar is done with the Ravens. Like, he wants to move on, because of just how this contract thing is gone. So it's now being the question of who's going to be the suitor.
Here's the thing, though. He wants to be gone, but he does not have the cards in his hand to move on. He's not going to. It's not going to happen. Until he gets an agent, you can count him out of doing any kind of deals on his own. It's not going to happen. He's staying with the Ravens, or he's not going to play this year.
I don't honestly. If he's still on the Ravens roster, I don't think he's playing.
I don't think
he'll be sitting this year.
But he needs to hire an agent. Like months ago, years ago, he needs to hire an agent. I don't know why these players aren't slap him upside the head and say, "Dude, get an agent. You're not going to get this deal done on your own."
Yeah. And we've seen how it's gone.
It's gone to shit.
He's gonna waste a year of his prime, just sitting at home. Well, the downside is, he can't truly sit at home. He's got to show up. Because based on the last NFLPA, as we saw with Deshaun Watson when he was still a Texan, he was still showing up for the OTAs and stuff, but doing the literal bare minimum and leaving. And it would be the same thing with the Ravens. He would show up, do the literal bare minimum, and leave. It's that way he wouldn't get fined. So, I mean, but the point is, I don't personally think he's going to play as a Raven again. I just don't see it happening.
It may not.
If they magically work out a deal, obviously, yeah, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. So it's going to be the question of who's going to pull that trigger, which I think there's going to be someone. I think we're going to actually finally get some news out here soon that someone's going to pull the trigger. It's just going to be who. Maybe my mock draft can point us in that direction. We'll see. Still no update on Aaron Rodgers. You know, the Packers and Jets are still trying to figure it out. And it's the constant question this week, and I'll ask this real quick because, you know, I do want to get into mock 3.0s because I know you've got some plans. Jacob, you're tired. I've got some plans. I want to get on with the show. But, you know, here's the question I have for you guys. When it comes to the Jets and the Packers, who has leverage in this situation? Because I don't feel like either side has leverage in this.
I disagree. It's the Packers. Packers do not have to let him go until August.
That's fair. That's fair.
They do not have to let him go.
Yeah, I mean, that
Which
is
the
fair.
report is saying that it's going to, it could, and it's looking like it's going to take probably until about mid-July before we even hear anything about a trade happening.
Yeah, and you know, I would give the up on the Packers for leverage because the bottom line is the Jets, they have zero backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in. You know what I mean?
And it's for Aaron Rodgers, it's either the Jets or he's retiring.
Yeah, at this point, yeah. I did see where Jordan Love is heading out to Cali with his receivers and Aaron Jones so they can start working on timing. So that's good. That's good. You know, hopefully Shane's third team of the Packers can do something this year for him.
Well, once Aaron Rodgers is gone, they will no longer be my third team. I promise you that.
All right, so is the Jets then?
So,
Okay.
so
we can talk about it.
Are you going to start chanting JETS, 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 Jets?
so the Broncos could have a terrible. So the Broncos can have a terrible quarterback, and you're still going to stick with the Broncos, but not the Packers.
Hey, that's loyalty. You know, that's the difference of like being a fan of a team and a fan of a player.
No, I understand that part. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. It's kind of like when Tom Brady left the Patriots and went to the Bucks.
Yeah.
My little brother's like, "Nope, I'm a Bucks fan now." I'm like, "You were never a Patriots fan then. You're just a Tom Brady fan."
Yeah. It's fan of the player, not fan of the team. So I do feel that because there was that brief stint where I was, not it's like a second team, but there was that very small brief stint where I was a Falcons supporter because Devin Hester is my favorite player of all time. I have his Falcons jersey. I watched the game where he broke Deion's record. Like, I love Hester. So anywhere he went, I was a fan of. Which the brief stint in Baltimore, his one game in Seattle. Hey, that one game in Seattle, he played phenomenal. I want the record to be known. His final game of his career, his one only game with Seattle, he played incredible. So shout out to that. Love Devin Hester, man. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Just watch.
And now you're a Colts fan with Gardner Minshew.
You're right. I am a Colts supporter. I love Gardner Minshew, guys. Like, I'm not even like for people listening to the show, this is not even like a bullshit thing here. I absolutely adore Gardner Minshew. I really do. He's one of my favorite players in the league. So yeah, I'm a Colts supporter. I wish for him the best. But I can't think of anything else to kind of shout out before we get started. You guys got anything? Or are you guys ready to hop into 3.0s this week?
I'm ready to hop in, but I will say this is probably my worst mock draft of the three.
I saw that you sent it in your channel, but I didn't get a chance to review it. So I'll be looking forward to hearing about it.
So before we get started with mock draft 3.0, I have three things to get off my mind.
He's got three things he's got to shout out here.
Now, the first two is going to be two of you, of course, Alex and Jacob. Now, because you're my boys, I automatically forgive you for doing this. But what's it going to take? I have been fair with my picks when it comes to ball games, no matter what the sport is. I am very, very fair. I picked Ohio State to win the national championship in football at the very beginning of the season.
Right.
Without bias.
Yep.
I picked Ohio State to be in the Final Four of the women's, and I tell you this, I root against any and all teams, including the swim team, even if they have a swim team at Ohio State. But you two make me sick.
I know where this is going now.
Y'all couldn't pick Arkansas to win one game. Ever since I've known you two, you have not picked Arkansas to win one damn game, no matter what the sport it is. Basketball, football, baseball, doesn't matter what it is. You can't pick Arkansas to win one damn game and swallow your pride.
Yep. I did not have him getting knocked out in the first round.
Not one damn game. I understand Kansas. I picked them to lose to Kansas. I told you I'm a realist. I'm not a freaking, a bandwagoner, and I'm not one of those type of fans. I'm a realist. I see what I see
That's
on paper.
Why I like you. You and Shane both. You guys are realists.
And that's how I am with the Cowboys. That's how I am with the Arkansas Razorbacks. That's how I am with the St. Louis. That's how I am with all my fandom. And y'all can't pick one damn game for Arkansas to win.
Jacob, I love you, but I'm going to point the guns your way. Blame Jacob more than me. I have no guns in this. I have no dogs in this fight. I don't watch college basketball, okay?
No,
I'm just yeeting shit out. Jacob at least point the guns at him.
I understand that you don't watch college basketball. Here's the thing.
Listen.
Okay.
I wholeheartedly thought Illinois was a better team going into the round of 64 than Arkansas. I'll give the Arkansas the benefit of the doubt. They beat Illinois by 10 points. But man, they only won against Kansas by 1 point.
Woohoo!
Who was
Kansas beat Kentucky by
Kansas.
30.
They are going to get
they have
absolutely obliterated by the Huskies.
No, they're not.
Kansas,
It's going to be a good game.
The
It's going to
defending
be.
national champion.
I guarantee if Arkansas loses, it'll be in single digits. It will not be in double digits to Connecticut.
Big doubt.
It will not be double digits.
I'm going to go with 13 plus points.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with I have zero clue.
I'll take that over under.
I will too. And I'm not just saying this to be, just to be one of those bandwagon Arkansas fans. I'm just telling you from what I've seen, what I see down the middle. I just tell you what I see. I'm not saying that Connecticut's not going to win. I think Connecticut is going to win the ball game just because we have a bunch of young freshmen who can't pull anything on the rings, and it pisses me off. Anyways, but
to be fair, I only have 3% of the bracket correct.
No,
I have no say in the matter.
I know that. I'm just saying in general, boys. Come on.
I imagine
you
the moment that
give me an Arkansas
I
pick
imagine
here.
the moment you saw that, you're like, you got to be shitting me.
And I had just finished bragging. Here's the thing: I had just finished bragging on you two on Facebook whenever I was posting the standings on the Nooner Forest Show Facebook page. So yeah, anyway. And then I saw that. Then I have one more other person to call out that is not on this show.
Oh, yeah.
When I left the show last week, I wanted to listen what happened after I was done, just to tune in and everything like that. Then some douchebag had to make a comment about our show. Oh my goodness gracious! Listen, people, for the record. And listen, the boys are probably going to feel the same exact way as I do. I'm just going to point it at that, all right? I don't care if you like the show or not. We're doing this because we love to do this. I do this because I love to do this show. This show is a very, very legitimate podcast that's, well, let's just take a look at the facts. If this douchebag didn't hear the beginning of the show last week, a paid sponsorship has already been in contact with Alex. But yet we're just such a horrible show. We're doing the same things everybody else is doing. That's what he said. That's what pisses me off because he doesn't really listen to the show. If you really listen to the show and you don't like it, I'm fine with that. But if you don't really listen to the show and you just want to make terrible comments, actually listen to the show. Listen, guys, I watch Stephen A. Smith. I watch all those guys. Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless. I watch all those guys. Not one damn person brought up Derek Carr going to the Saints before he actually signed up to the Saints. But Jacob did. Jacob made that call.
That is true. Jacob
Not
called that
one
shit.
damn person. Not one damn person said Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be a Raider. Jacob said he would.
That's also true.
This entire mock draft that we are doing, have I glanced at a couple of them? Yes. But my mock draft isn't the same as some of these other guys is, and I guarantee you all of ours isn't the same as these other guys is.
I guarantee you mine's today not.
And here's the thing. I'm almost willing to bet our mock draft we're gonna get more right than some of these other guys, like your boy Mel Kiper, like that you can't stand. I'm just saying, I'm okay if you don't like the show and you make a negative comment, but actually watch the show before you actually come up with a great opinion about it. Don't piss on our parade if you don't have a parade to cheer on to begin with, and that's all I'm saying.
Mic drop. Let's go.
Trust me, I could have went the non-Christian way on this, but I decided to go the Christian way.
You decided to be nice about it.
I decided to be nice about it.
Yeah, he texted me days ago. He's just like, I'm calling that guy out when I get on the show Tuesday.
Oh, man.
And, it's like when, it was only me and Jacob at the time. It's like I was saying, me and Jacob were saying, it's like, Dude, you literally came into a live show called A Terrible Football. What did you expect, my guy? we don't take any of our opinions seriously. I was beating on the table last year that Bailey Zappi was the greatest quarterback in the league.
And for those of you, those of you who are faithful to the show, I do thank you guys.
See, they understand our sense of humor and stuff.
I'm just saying. Here's the thing. Alex has a goal here, and Alex has talked to me about the goals that he does have. And I'm just here to support them. This dude puts in so much time. He built a studio, for crying out loud. We're inside a nice-looking studio in here. This is pretty good.
Hey, how's it going? This is the sniper shot. How are you? Back to the boys. I do like this studio.
I do too.
Yeah. Need to get some more decorations going on, though. I haven't gotten around to that. I got the stuff behind me, and that's it.
And Shane still needs to pick up his...
No, he actually wanted to leave that here.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, it looks good up there.
It's a W for ATFS, so he wanted to leave it here. So shout out to that.
That's
shout out to that.
I like that.
But I'm glad you got that off your chest. I know you've been sitting on that for days.
I've been thinking about what to say for days too.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go the rapist way. I didn't want to do that full blown calm. I didn't want to go full out blowout cuss out. I didn't want to do that because it wasn't worth it. Actually, it probably was, but I didn't do it. I'm trying to do the Christian way about it and not the non-Christian way about it, y'all. That's just part of it.
I love hate comments, honestly. Like, anytime I get them on, like, our shorts or TikToks or whatever, I always make sure to respond to them in some capacity. I love hate comments. Keep them coming.
I mean, it's fine, but just watch the show and actually say, give us specifics on what we're doing that everybody else is doing.
Right.
And then I could respect that. I don't respect anybody that just leaves a hate comment. We call them Karens. I don't know what we call them for guys, though. I just don't know what we call them for guys yet.
I have no idea either. There was a name, but I don't remember.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll call them
Kevin. I know some shitbag Kevins, so that makes sense.
No, they gotta be Kyle's, dude.
Oh yeah, Kyle's too.
Yes.
Kyle's a good one.
Yes.
Kyle's a good one. Apologies to any Kevins and Kyles listening to the show. I'm sure you're a great person. Anyway, let's get into mock draft 3.0s, boys. All right. So I already told Ricky, and I think Shane, Jacob mentioned to you, I'm not going to do the megaphone again. Loved it last time. It was great for us, but like in that post, it was not great for us. Cause I noticed like midway through the show when I was doing the megaphone last time, and for those that are listening that don't know what I'm talking about this effect right here. It's a cool effect and all, but like whenever I did it last time, like I would be announcing the pick. I was like, I think like the 15th pick, right? So I was like, fuck, the damage is done. I noticed that like my levels were like hard spiking. Like they were in the red. They were grayed out, like level spiking. So if you guys notice at that point, like after that, I started like, all right, with the 16th pick, I started to talk very low.
Now you sound like a golf announcer. Here we go, the ball.
Yeah, so no megaphone.
Oh my goodness!
No
it just
megaphone.
went in the hoe.
I think I can actually turn down effect settings on this board. I haven't messed with it. So anyway, all right, yeah. So first mock draft since the big trade happened with Carolina. So we'll kick things off. First overall pick, Carolina Panthers. Who wants to start?
I'll go last.
I'll start.
Okay.
I've got Carolina taking C.J. Stroud. I think he's a better fit than what the rest of the quarterbacks will be. Even though I could see them taking Anthony Richardson, but I as far as fitting goes, I think C.J. Stroud fits the best.
I'm gonna double up on you. I got C.J. Stroud, but I have toyed with the idea of Anthony Richardson just because based on some reports I've seen that Frank Reich does like Anthony Richardson, and honestly, Carolina is a poverty franchise, so they would be the idiots to draft Anthony Richardson. My stance on Anthony Richardson has not changed. I think he is going to be a bust. Could he prove me wrong? Absolutely. I think he's a bust. And Carolina is an idiot franchise that would 100% draft him at 1. But as of now, I'm going to go with the odds-on favorite. I think it's like minus 225 for C.J. Stroud going number 1 overall. Now, Jacob, the way he kind of put it makes me think he's got something very spicy at 1. Shane, I did actually see what you had going on at 1. I didn't see the rest of it, so I'll let which one of you wants to go first?
Well, he already said he'll go last, so I'll respect that. And I'll go next. Okay. So with the first overall pick, the Carolina Panthers trade their pick. They try to recoup some of that because, just like Alex said, the GM and owner has their guy. They know they can get their guy later. So with the first overall pick, Indianapolis Colts select C.J. Stroud.
Okay. That's actually a pretty fair take because we got to keep in mind when it comes to this trade with Carolina, the constant report we've seen is Carolina just wants to be able to control the draft.
That's respectable.
I have seen reports that if Carolina likes 2 or 3 guys out of the bunch, they could potentially trade back. You know what I mean? I have seen reports of that. I think that's a pretty respectable take.
Well, my pick is not going to be as spicy now, but Carolina is going to be dumb in the view of Alex.
Oh.
The first overall pick in the NFL draft, the Carolina Panthers select Frank Reich's boy, Anthony Richardson.
It's like plus 500 right now.
It's plus 500, but I saw a cool stat actually the other day. For only 4 games under Frank Reich have been with a quarterback under 6'4", and all 4 of them have been a backup quarterback. Every other start that he's had as a head coach, the quarterback has been over 6'4".
That is such a wild statistic.
6'4" and over in this draft is Anthony Richardson.
That is such a wild little statistic. That's a wild little nugget of information. All right, go ahead and lock it in. Plus 500, Anthony Richardson going to Carolina. Oh, geez. All right, let's head over to the second pick. I'm pretty sure we probably all have the same pick here. Houston Texans. I got Bryce Young.
I have Bryce Young as well.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Third pick, Arizona Cardinals. This is one that I toyed with quite a bit on a trade. So I'll go ahead and throw out a potential trade partner to watch for. It was a trade partner I thought could have been in play for number 1. And even at like number 5 spot and stuff. But keep an eye out for a potential Tennessee trade up to get above Indianapolis to maybe draft a quarterback. It's kind of, in some cases, it's a little bit out of character for Tennessee, but, I do think they're getting ready to move on from Ryan Tannehill. If they would cut him, they would save so much money, and I just don't think Malik's going to be their guy. So watch for a potential trade candidate for Tennessee. I think that could be a jump we could potentially see, but as of now, I do still have Arizona staying here and going with the standard pick of Will Anderson. I think, what's his name? Whatever, Gannon. The pew, 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 explosion, speed, whatever he said. I still got him getting his future edge rusher with Will Anderson.
Yeah, I've got the same thing here, Will Anderson.
Yep, same.
I actually don't. I've been going Will Anderson here for my first 2 mock drafts. But I think due to this quarterback mashup, because I think there is even a world that we see 4 quarterbacks go in the first 4 picks.
I agree.
Yeah, that could be a possibility.
If Arizona trades out, I do think literally these top 4 quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, 4. I really do.
So and I was really debating a trade on this with a team like Tennessee, maybe Chicago to get back up there, Atlanta, somebody like that, to get back up in there, but I just didn't really pull the trigger on it. But honestly, as much as they need edge help, they need secondary help too. I have them going with who I've heard tremendous things about coming out of the combine. Devin Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois.
That's respectable.
Ooh, I like that one. I like Devin a lot. I mean, I got him going top 10 for me. As I have been all along. I like Devin a lot, so I'm with you on that one. I like that pick because honestly, that could be a legitimate pick we could see at this point. I would say Will Anderson and Devin Witherspoon, could be some legitimate possibilities for that Arizona pick. They need DB help and they need edge rush help. So that is a strong note. All right, for the 4th pick, I will go last on this one. Indianapolis Colts. What are you guys feeling about this pick?
I've got Will Levis.
Ooh, okay.
I will agree with what Shane said earlier, although I do not think they would have to trade up to get him. I got them taking CJ Stroud.
Okay.
I've got Carolina here, and I've got them selecting Anthony Richardson.
All right, for me, for the Colts.
Oh, Lord.
I have the Colts drafting. Are you guys ready? I have the Colts drafting their future wide receiver to help Gardner Minshew because they're going to go all in on Gardner Minshew.
Oh
with the 4th overall pick. They're going to draft Zay Flowers out of Boston College.
Oh my gosh!
Ooh.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the pick.
I'm totally lying. Hold on, we got to stop.
I was about to say because I want what you're smoking now.
All right, we got my actual pick with the 4th overall pick. The Baltimore Ravens will be drafting quarterback Anthony Richardson, and Lamar Jackson will be an Indianapolis Colt.
Huh?
They got the money for it. You know, I know.
Okay, what the hell were you just saying before the show? What happened to Gardner Minshew?
Hold on, pump the brakes here.
Have you just abandoned your boy already?
Jacob,
I see them. I see
gaslighted.
the light in Gardner, but not everyone else does.
He's gonna
and
pick,
that's okay.
He's gonna have the Colts go 17-0 next year.
Oh
Ladies and
yeah,
gentlemen.
baby.
He's gonna have if Gardner Minshew's starting next year. I guarantee you, Alex is gonna have them going 17-0 next
You're
year.
damn right, baby. They're going to win the Super Bowl. But no, with this, like, you know, there's now starting to get some chatter that the Colts have not ruled out that possibility of making that pursue. You know, there's nothing being settled with the Baltimore and Lamar right now. Lamar obviously wants out. There are multiple suitors that could work for Lamar. So at this point, I'll be real. If anyone trying to pinpoint a potential location for Lamar, you're just kind of throwing darts at a big board right now. Like, legit, a big board with the select few teams. And I feel like one of those select few teams will be the Indianapolis Colts. You know, one of Jacob's big pitches about the Falcons, which I think are still in play, is they had the money for it. Guess what? The Colts isn't too far behind either. In terms of current cap space, Colts are only $4 million behind the Falcons right now. You know, like the money is potentially there. You know, while the Colts are tired of the veteran carousel thing, I mean, it's Lamar Jackson. That's a significant upgrade from anyone else you've brought in thus far. Let's be real. Even if he's got the potential injury issues, that's a wide gap of a margin from anything else they've done since Luck has retired. Being up front.
True.
And I think that's something they
take a chance.
If they want to take a chance, yes.
A chance with Carson Wentz, they're willing to take a chance with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
Carson Wentz is like 10 times more injury prone.
And the
Lamar
big thing
Jackson
is with this trade as well that I think it blows me away that we've heard no chatter about Lamar is like the floor is just 2 firsts. You know, it's not like 3 firsts and multiples because of that non-exclusive tag they put on him. All a team's got to do is do 2 firsts. That's all they got to do, and obviously got to pay him. But you know, I'm not hammering the fact that I 100% think Lamar is going to be a Colt. But I wanted to throw it out here for my mock draft because I do think it's a legitimate possibility that not many people are talking about. You know, Jacob's throwing out multiple possibilities. It's fucking come true. So, God damn it, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm throwing something out there that could come true. We'll fucking see. Lamar Jackson, Indianapolis Colt, and the Ravens with the 4th pick, drafting Anthony Richardson, quarterback from Florida. All right, 5th pick, Seattle Seahawks.
I have Jalen Carter.
Not having a slide. Okay.
I toyed with this one too
Yeah.
because one of the things that I always thought of, you know, he's still going through the legal troubles, and I really think depending on the outcome of that legal trouble, which I think he pleaded no contest to, I think depending on the outcome, if anyone is willing to take him on, it's the criminal Pete Carroll.
Okay, all right.
I have them. So, okay. Way back when the Senior Bowl happened, there was some talking that came out from the Senior Bowl that has been in the back of my mind ever since it happened. And I haven't taken this pick at all yet, but I think it's time to do it. I have the Seattle Seahawks taking Will Levis here. Now let me explain. I know they just extended Geno Smith,
Yep.
but if Geno regresses whatsoever this year, all they have to do is just opt out out of his contract, and he'd only count 17.4 mil against the cap space.
Yeah, that is true. That's how they got the contract set up.
So if the Seahawks are any bit at all worried about Geno's progression or regression, I see them taking a quarterback here, just to be on the safe side.
But here's my thing. Here's my thing with that though, Jacob. Do they have to take a quarterback this early? Because they have 2 picks in the first round.
If they
Oh, yeah.
want a top quarterback, I would suggest it.
Yeah. I mean, if they're sitting in there at 5 and they really want a top guy, I mean, I don't think that's a bad play. But I mean, because like if you're going later rounds, I feel like there are some quality guys later rounds. You can get like 2nd round or something, you know, sure. But you know, while you're sitting there at 5, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to entertain. I feel like there's 100% other areas they could improve on right now. Like we've all probably done like edge rusher or something for them or offensive lineman or something. But I don't think at 5 I don't think it's a terrible thing to at least consider the option of like if one of the 4 is still there, gotta at least think about it. At least in my mind. But if they're going to go later round, like a Tanner McKee from Stanford in the second round, even a Hendon Hooker in late second or sometime in the third as well, they could potentially do that too. So I could see both sides because that is a good point about Geno's contract. Is like yeah, they extended him, but they can opt out after a year. So I think it's actually look if that fucking happens now on draft night, my brain is my brain's running through the possibilities of this now.
Don't get me wrong, I like the pick.
Yeah.
But the thing with the Seattle Seahawks is I don't think they're in that desperate of a need to pick at number 5.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's just me. That's just me. Now, I understand. I understand.
They may not be portraying it on the surface, but you never know what's happening behind the scenes.
Very true.
That's true.
That is true.
Because it's also one of those things like, while they may not be in the need for it at 5, honestly, what it will really come down to, it's going to come down to how well they feel about their current roster. You know what I mean? Like if they feel pretty strong about the current roster, maybe they could, do a couple other small trades here, for some vets or, a couple other free agent signings, then they might be feeling froggy and may go quarterback. It just depends on how they're feeling about their current roster. You know what I mean? To make that play. For me, I'm going basic. I got edge rusher Tyree Wilson. I think he's, very closely the second best edge rusher in this draft behind Will, of course. And I think that's an area that Seattle could use some help in.
Yeah, I was thinking about putting Jalen Carter here, but I think this Tyree Wilson is just as good and doesn't have the complications off the field right now. And I think for once Seattle takes a safe bet and gets Tyree Wilson.
Yeah. Ricky, did you throw out yours?
I did.
Okay, that's right, you did. I will say, for at least a couple players here, I've got some notable slides. So you'll hear their name. I promise you, for anyone listening to the show, you will hear a couple of these bigger names. You will hear them in my first round, but they're going to slide. Let's go to the 6th pick, Detroit Lions. I'm going my basic pick here, man. I like Devin Witherspoon going to Detroit. They need some serious secondary help. They got a nice signing here recently with Gardner Johnson, whatever his name is. Chauncey. Yeah, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from Philly. Only signed him on a 1-year deal, though. I definitely think Devin could be I think he's the best corner in this draft. Shane obviously agrees, got him go number 3. And, I think he would be an excellent addition for the brand new Lions.
I almost went that route. But I don't think you pass up on Tyree Wilson here. I'm going to take Tyree Wilson.
Yeah, in your case, if he's there, pair him with Aiden. Yeah, you're right.
I have them taking cornerback Christian Gonzalez.
Okay.
That's respectable too.
Yep.
I have them taking what I thought was probably the best pass rusher here, and honestly, 5 and 6 for me could really flip. It's really just depending on what they wanted the most. I could see Seattle taking this guy if he's available, and then Detroit taking the opposite one. But due to Seattle taking Tyree Wilson, I have the Detroit Lions selecting Will Anderson Jr.
Yeah, he slid in yours. I have seen some reports where he's kind of falling out of graces with some people, which is kind of wild to me. It's not to the same extent as Jalen Carter. He's obviously taking the headlines right now. All right, 7th overall pick with Vegas. So I'll start. I do not have them taking a quarterback. Obviously, with how my draft is going, there's still one name on the board. I think Vegas, and I think that coaching staff and that team, I'll be honest, I think they're in the same realm as Carolina. I think they're a poverty franchise, and I think they're going to just run with Jimmy Garoppolo and just draft a guy in a later round. So I just have them addressing something they need, and I've got them getting offensive lineman Peter Skoronski. They could put him at tackle, put him on the interior, and just run him with Jimmy G and believing in what he can do versus taking Will Levis, who's still on the board for me.
I agree with you on the fact that I think they'll run with Jimmy G and draft a quarterback later in the draft. I have them taking Tyree Wilson here.
Okay.
I have them taking, at one point was a possible number 1 pick, but like we stated, due to the possible criminal charges that come across him, he's definitely fallen. And due to at his pro day or combine, he was like 20 pounds heavier than he was.
Yep.
and he's having issues, staying in shape and running and things like that. So, but I have the Raiders selecting Jalen Carter here at number 7.
Man, I toyed with that because that'd be a Raiders move. That would be a Raiders move to get the guy with issues.
I'm going to stick with the same person I stuck with in all 3 drafts. I've got the offensive lineman for Northwestern, Peter Skoronski.
All right. 8th overall pick with Atlanta. So for me, I actually have one of our combine stars. I've got a pretty. This is an overdraft. All right, I'll be very transparent. I'm aware that it is. This guy's going to go in the first, but I think 8 is pretty high for him. But I could see where Atlanta's going to completely fall in love with this guy. I've got them getting edge rusher Nolan Smith out of Georgia.
I like that.
I like that pick too, and I just realized I really, really screwed up, and I do not know how I screwed this up because I had Brian Breesy way at the bottom in mock draft 2.0. I have them picking Brian Breesy. I just don't think they're going to pick Brian Breesy. I'm going to update this because I didn't even have him in the first round, I don't think, in my last
I've got
one.
him in the first round for me, but it's late first for me.
Yeah, I don't know how I messed that up, but I got to go back and fix that. I have no idea how I messed that up, but I did. I screwed that one up.
I have the Atlanta Falcons taking someone who I think not only sounds fun, but it also sounds very promising. Picture this. The offense. You have Drake London. You have Kyle Pitts. You have Tyler Algier. You have Desmond Ridder at quarterback. And you have the newly acquired wide receiver, Jackson Smith and Jigba from the Ohio State University. That offense sounds very, very electric.
Electric enough to win 6 or 7 games. I agree with you.
I mean, I like the idea of
I do too.
Jason, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. I like that. Just got to figure out if Desmond's going to be the guy or not.
I think if he's going to be the guy, it's going to show if they take a wide receiver because this offense has a lot of talent on it, and if he doesn't progress this year, they might start looking elsewhere next year in the draft.
Look, let's be real. Taylor Heineke is going to be starting at least the first 4 games, but then his replacement is going to be coming, and that's who they're going to draft with this number 8 overall pick, Will Levis.
Have them moving on from Desmond already just after 1 year?
Yep.
I mean, if Falcons are there and Will's there, why not consider? If one, it's like I was saying with the Seahawks. If one of the 4 is there, I mean, you got to think about it.
Yeah, but that's a little bit of a different story, though. Gino is in a different situation than Desmond is because Desmond's just a 1-year player. Gino's been in the league for a while now.
Right, fair. All right, 9th overall pick, the Chicago Bears. How we feeling about it?
I want to go last on this one.
All right.
I got them taking Jalen Carter. I'll just get it out of the way there.
Okay. Shane, what do you got?
I have them pairing college teammates together, getting Jackson Smith and Jigba from the Ohio State University.
Seen a lot of chatter about that. I don't personally think we'll go that route. I think if they're going to get a wide receiver, I said this last week, I think they're going to look more like maybe a Marvin Harrison Jr. Next year with that pick we got from Carolina, which will likely be a top 10 pick. For me, as the residential suffering Bears fan who's tasting a little bit of greatness right now, I personally feel like with how the free agency has gone, from the targets that they've missed, the targets they've gotten, it's offensive line here. Trading out is still a possibility, sure, but I don't think it's going to happen because at this point, you should very well expect one of the 3 main offensive linemen. Obviously, all the others will be there, but out of the main 3 being, Paris Johnson, Peter, and Broderick Jones, they should at least, if not all 3, 2 of them of the 3 should be here. And I think that's the safest bet of where they're going to go. I've got Paris Johnson Jr., tackle from the Ohio State University, beefing up this offensive line.
I almost went with Paris Johnson Jr. here, but I also agree with Shane. I think they're going to take Jackson Smith-Njigba out of Ohio State and pair him up with your quarterback.
And I
this
wouldn't
is
be
my
upset
reasoning
about that.
behind it, right? This is my reasoning behind it. Even with that Carolina pick being a potential top 10, top 5 pick next year,
Yep.
you get Jackson Smith now. I think we've all agreed this is probably the deepest offensive line, defensive line kind of edge rusher drafts that we've had in at least 3 or 4 years, right? So you can still get a guy that can start for you, maybe early or late in the first, early in the second, if you want to make some deals and stuff like that. But why not go ahead and get a player like Jackson? And then if Marvin Harrison falls to you next year, you know for sure you already have Jackson who's going to be a stud. And then if it just happens to be there again next year and you get Marvin, I mean, you cannot tell me that's going to be one hell of a receiving core and one hell of an offense, especially if they can figure out the tight end position, which I think they just signed one, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not sure. And then figure
They're
out
still gonna
the
keep
running
running
back
with Cole
position.
Kmet.
And even then, like, the running backs for Chicago aren't bad. They're just not top tier right now.
Right. And I acknowledge all that, and I think Jason is still going to be in play at 9. I just think, again, based on how we've done in free agency, I think offensive line is probably the best play and probably the play they'll do.
And I will say, just to throw it out there as the Buckeye fan, I will say Jackson does not have that much chemistry with Justin Fields. They barely played with one another.
Yeah.
So those who think that it would be a good pairing, may not. It may not. Just strictly off the fact that they barely played with one another.
I mean, and they could very well go like a Quentin Johnson or Zay Flowers, or they could get a receiver here. It doesn't have to necessarily be Jackson. I just think Jackson's the best in the draft right now. I was toying with Quentin Johnson for a while, but I think Jackson Smith right now is the best in the draft, and why not select him here?
I will say
whoever takes CJ Stroud, they need to at least attempt to try to trade for Jackson. They have to.
Yeah.
At least attempt it.
Yeah. And I will say, in terms of Quentin, like I've had before, still got that guy sliding. I've got him sliding down right now.
Same.
Yeah. Tyler's here in the chat, and he says big facts, Jacob, in terms of your CJ Stroud and Jackson thing. So, all right. So 10th overall pick, Philadelphia. I've got him going Christian Gonzalez, cornerback from Oregon.
I have them taking Bijan Robinson from Texas.
Ooh.
I like that pick.
I really do like that pick.
That's high too.
That's a very high pick too.
But I think he's a great player in this draft.
I think he's a lot underrated. I think he's underrated for where he's at, especially like overall rank and everything like that goes to.
Yep.
Yeah, Miles Sanders did way too much for that offense, and then they let him go. So they need to recuperate some offensive power, fighting power, and I think Bijan is a really good replacement.
But also, I see them as two different types of backs, though.
True.
Hey, I don't think it matters to them. They get it back.
Yeah. Yep.
I have them taking Devin Witherspoon.
Good pick.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of fucked up the Eagles draft in this mock draft.
Good.
I have them selecting 2 receivers in the first round because I was not paying attention.
Shame.
So that was one of the reasons why I think this is probably my worst mock draft. Out of all of them, I think that we're gonna do. But I have them selecting Quentin Johnson here. I think it very well could be a Christian Gonzalez or a top defensive back, maybe even like a safety or something like that, like Brian Branch, who's shown a lot of potential through combine and pro days. But yeah, kind of fucked their draft up here.
Tyler also throws out there that Bijan to Philly is a lock in my opinion. I definitely think it's one of the biggest locks. I actually have Bijan going into a completely different location than I've ever said before. I will say that. So we'll get to that later on in the first round. Tyler also said Tyler's got a dip, but he says if any of y'all have Buffalo taking a running back again, I'm blocking y'all. We need a linebacker.
Tyler,
Well,
they're taking a running back.
Then you go ahead and block me, bro.
Block me too. Just go ahead.
Just get it
Go
done.
ahead. Get it out of the way, man. Just get it out of the way.
All right. 11th pick, Tennessee. I've got them going tackle here to replace Tyler Lewan, but I do not have them going Broderick Jones. I have them going Anton Harrison from Oklahoma.
I like that pick. I think they're going to go wide receiver, though. I got Quentin Johnson.
Okay.
I have them taking Paris Johnson Jr.
I like that pick, too.
I have them going Lucas Van Ness from Iowa.
Okay. 12th pick, Houston. I have them getting, as I have said before with our last mock draft, a guy who has the potential to be the next Aaron Donald, and I feel like it showed at the fucking combine. Still don't know how to pronounce his first name. Kalijah Cansey? Is it Kalijah?
Kalijah.
Yeah.
Kalijah Cansey.
I have the Texans going Lucas Van Ness.
Have them taking Miles Murphy.
I also have them taking Cansey with the 12th overall pick.
13th pick. So for me, I still have it being the Jets. I don't think the Jets are going to – I don't think the Packers are going to get a first-round pick. I think in this draft, in my
Not
scenario,
in this draft, they won't.
I still foresee Aaron Rodgers obviously being a Jet, but I don't think they're going to get this 13th pick. So for me, I've got the Jets going tackle Broderick Jones.
I have the Jets getting Paris Johnson Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, Alex. I don't think the trade's going to happen by the draft. It's definitely going to happen later. I'm thinking July. I have them taking Broderick Jones from Georgia.
Yeah, I have the Jets taking Peter Skoronski from Northwestern.
Okay. 14th pick, New England. I've got them going Lucas Van Ness.
I have them also taking an edge, but I already have Lucas Van Ness off my board. I'm having Nolan Smith out of Georgia.
I have them taking Jacoby Myers' replacement in Zay Flowers.
I like it.
I have them taking an offensive lineman, possibly the second best one available, Paris Johnson Jr.
From?
The Ohio State University.
Yeah. All right. 15th pick, Green Bay. I've actually got them going a weapon here, but not wide receiver. In fact, with my board, I have yet to have a wide receiver come off the board. That is actually intentional. I just don't think this group is as strong as it was last year, where we saw, Drake go in the top 10, Garrett go at 10, et cetera. I think we could potentially see some falls in wide receivers. So for me, I've got them going Dalton Kincaid, tight end from Utah.
I agree.
Go ahead. No, I agree with the tight end part, but I'm sticking with Michael Mayer. I think he's a little bit more talented than Dalton Kincaid.
I think he's more talented in terms. He's a good overall tight end. You know what I mean? I feel like Dalton's the better receiver.
I agree. I agree with that. With that as well. And I believe they have Michael Mayer. I think they have him number one tight end coming out of the
They
NFL.
do.
That's the one need that they definitely have. So or they definitely need.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Alex, that this wide receiving core is not nearly as deep as last year, but the top 4 wide receivers going into this draft definitely have huge potential to have big impact wherever they go. But I do have Green Bay taking Michael Mayer here.
Yeah, I was gonna get them to take Michael Mayer, but I'm gonna go back to my 1.0. I have them taking Dalton Kincaid. And for reasons like Alex said, I think he's the best receiving tight end you have. I think he's more versatile. He's gonna be your George Kittle, Travis Kelce type player, to where you can not only just stick him on the line, but you can kind of push him out to the side, and he'll still be able to get separation against smaller corners and get yards. I think Michael Mayer may be the best overall, but I don't think he is as good as catching as Dalton Kincaid, and I think that's what Green Bay is going to be looking for.
All right, 16th pick, the Washington Commanders. So for me, the slide has finally stopped for one man that's been sitting a little too long back in the green room. I've got the Commanders taking, because he fell in their lap, quarterback Will Levis from Kentucky.
Always one.
I always one.
There's always one. I mean, it's just how it is.
Mine's Anthony Richardson, but I'm not putting him at the Commanders. I've got Christian Gonzalez from Oregon going here.
I have Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State.
Oh, I really wanted to put Joey Porter there too. I really did.
I thought about it too, but man, like number one, Will was still there for me, and also I'll go ahead and say it, my 17th pick for Pittsburgh is still Joey Porter. I've had that on all 3 mocks. They're going in family for this one, baby.
I have Washington taking Nolan Smith from Georgia.
I like that though. All right, so yeah, Pittsburgh. Who do you guys got? Like I said, I got Joey Porter Jr., quarterback from Penn State.
I have them taking Peter Skoronski from Northwestern.
I have them taking your boy, Kalijah Clancy.
There we go.
I have them also taking Joey Porter Jr. And I will say with this next team, the Detroit Lions at 18, I think if they have the draft that I have them having in this first round, they very well may win this first round.
I mean, fair. It's brand new Lions, baby. So yeah,
2 years in a row.
18th overall pick, Detroit Lions. What do you guys got?
Nolan Smith.
This is where I have Joey Porter Jr.
Okay.
This is where I have Christian Gonzalez. So for the first round for the Detroit Lions, I have them selecting Will Anderson and Christian Gonzalez.
Ooh.
That's a hell of a first round for the new Lions here, and I think they win the first round 2 years back to back.
For me, with the 18th overall pick, I've got a trade. And I've got another man's slide finally coming to a close. With the 18th pick, I now have the Philadelphia Eagles trading up and drafting Jalen Carter, defensive lineman from Georgia. With his slide going down and, with him just sliding, there's going to be teams that's going to get very hyper aggressive. And I think Philadelphia would be one of those teams. They just lost Hargrave to the 49ers this offseason. Brandon Smith's coming back, so shout out to that. Is it Brandon Smith or Brandon Ingram? Brandon Ingram, right? I don't know why I said Brandon Smith. Ingram's coming back. That's great, but he's like a 15-year pro at this point. You drafted Jordan Davis last year. You already got N'Kobe. You're just building up a Georgia defense up there in Philly, all right? Get Jalen Carter, pair him up with Jordan Davis. You got N'Kobe Dean back at linebacker. You're just getting a Georgia championship defense to help lead you to a championship. So I definitely think if Jalen slides, you're going to see a few teams get a little aggressive and try to trade up. And I think Philly is going to be one of those teams, even despite the issues that he has off the field. 19th pick. How you guys feeling on Tampa Bay?
So they lost a lot of people this offseason. They had to cut ties with a significant amount of players.
They had no money. They were like minus 58 million going into this.
So I have them recuperating a little bit because they lost one of their longest tenured players in Donovan Smith at offensive tackle. I have them going Darnell Wright from Tennessee.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have them taking an SEC player as well. I have them taking safety Brian Branch out of Alabama.
I can see that too. They could go so many ways.
I have them taking a defensive lineman out of Clemson, Brian Breesy.
I've got him going offensive lineman, DeJuan Jones from the Ohio State University. One of the combine stars, in my opinion. All right, 20th pick, Seattle. I've got them going the best interior offensive lineman potentially on the board. I also like Luke from the Ohio State University as well. But I've got them going Osiris Torrance here, guard from Florida.
Got them going Lucas Van Ness from Iowa.
Okay.
So this is where I think they draft a quarterback. I still have not put Anthony Richardson off my board yet.
That is true.
I could see them taking Anthony Richardson here if he's still available here.
I can see that too.
I think Pete Carroll, I think for whatever reason, it just fits, in my opinion, that Anthony Richardson go to the Seahawks.
Don't you wish that on me, Bobby Boucher?
I'm
Don't
just
you put that
saying.
evil on me.
Pete Carroll's a criminal, man. He can go any way he wants to figure out this stuff.
Man. Did we all get our picks in there?
Yep.
No, I
Okay,
I have them selecting Brian Branch with the 20th overall pick.
I've toyed with that one a lot too for Seattle. I've toyed with that one a lot. As well.
Hey, I will say this: in my mock draft 2.0, I actually flipped it to where I had Brian Branch here and Anthony Richardson to the Bucks. Then I saw Baker Mayfield's go, and then you have Kyle Trask down there. Why?
Hey, don't forget what Elvis said on episode 50. I like that Baker Mayfield, man. He's playing well. So he's going to do well down there in Tampa. All right, 21st overall pick, Los Angeles Chargers. For me, I finally have my first wide receiver off the board with Jackson Smith Njigba. Did I get it right?
You did.
All right, thanks. That's all I needed. From the Ohio State University.
Yeah. I think that was the best pronunciation you've had thus far with his name.
Njigba. I'll get it eventually. Okay, I'll get it eventually.
I have Deontay Banks from Maryland going here.
I like that.
I have after the sudden retirement of Nasir Adderley, I have them taking safety here. Brian Branch from Alabama.
I have them taking tackle from Oklahoma, Anton Harrison.
Okay. 22nd overall pick, Baltimore. I got them going Quentin Johnson, wide receiver from TCU.
Devin Witherspoon, quarterback, Illinois.
Man, he slid for you.
Where I screwed up at, boys. I finally saw where I screwed up at. I put Miles Murphy down here. I meant to put Miles Murphy way up here at the top. So this one right here, this is where Brian Breesy. Will go to Baltimore. Brian Breesy will go to Baltimore, ladies and gentlemen.
And Miles Murphy was going to.
Miles Murphy is.
It was Atlanta.
Atlanta,
I think. Okay.
Yes.
That makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I have Baltimore taking a hometown kid, Deontay Banks out of Maryland.
I can see that too. All right. 23rd pick, Minnesota. I've got them going Deontay Banks here.
Minnesota, I've got Anton Harrison.
Quentin Johnson.
Miles Murphy.
Okay. 24th pick, the Duval Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them going with Brian Branch from DB from Alabama, who can play a couple different positions. And Jacksonville needs help in the secondary.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the biggest need for Jacksonville, in my opinion, is interior D line. And
I would say so.
I think they go D tackle here, and I think they go Mozzie Smith from Michigan.
I
like that one.
Really toyed with that. I really toyed with that. And my pick could definitely be wrong, but I'm going to stick with Zay Flowers. I've had that in the first two mock drafts. But yeah, you make a good point. My 4.0, I may be going with that guy. I really toyed with him. I'm telling you. Should I trade? Should I keep this? And I ended up keeping it. So anyway, so for the record, I agree with Jacob.
Oh, okay.
I have them still continuing to try and help keep Trevor Lawrence upright. I have them going tackle Broderick Jones from Georgia.
Yeah, we did just let one of our tackles walk. What was his name? Drawing a blank on it, but we did let him walk because we just didn't want to re-sign him. So from his rookie contract. All right, so next up, the New York Football Giants. I actually have them going wide receiver here, as most of us have. They've done some moves this offseason for wide receiver, but I definitely don't think it would help to go and add more with who has fallen down on the board at this point. I think this is also a spot where they could consider one of the tight ends if Dalton Kincaid and Michael Mayer are still there. I think the Giants could potentially jump on one of those, but I've got them going Jordan Addison from USC.
I have the exact same thing.
Same here.
I literally was going to put them there, but then I looked at the kind of receivers there, and I thought this player would just kind of fit better in their scheme, especially for like this kind of offense that they're trying to run. And frankly, this guy fell for me. I think he could go a little bit higher. I have them going Zay Flowers.
I could see Zay in New York too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, the Dallas Cowboys. I want the record to be known. My pick for 2.0, I still think is one that's possible, or where they could reach for a guy they could get in the second or the third, but just because they love him, they get him, being Jack Campbell, linebacker from Iowa. I think that'd be a great fit for that defense, and I can still see. But for here, on this mock draft today, I've got them going Brian Brees, D lineman from Clemson.
So here, I've got Broderick Jones out of Georgia.
You know, I do agree with the offensive tackle pick just because Tyron Smith is he's going to retire within the next few years for sure. He can't stay healthy to save his life. And Terrence Steele is set to be a free agent next year, and I do not think they're going to be re-signing him. So I got them taking Anton Harrison from Oklahoma.
Yeah, I like that pick too.
I had this saved pre Brandon Cooks trade. And also, we still don't know what's going to go on with Odell. I know Odell has Cowboys up on his list of teams that he wants to go to. So I had them selecting a receiver here, Jordan Addison at a USC.
Okay, all right. All right, next up, the Buffalo Bills. Who do we got going here, boys?
So
I have Trenton Simpson from
linebacker from Clemson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tyler's your biggest fan right
Tyler
now.
is probably your biggest fan right now.
Yeah.
But Tyler, there is something I want to point out before you decide to block me and everything like that. I understand that you need linebacker. If they need a linebacker, I could see Jacob's pick. I could see Drew Sanders going there. But at the same time, the reason you're losing is because you haven't had a talented running back. And I think at this point, Bijan Robinson is going to be your best bet. But it's going to be between him and Jamar Gibbs because there's only going to be two backs if any of them go in the first round. Bijan Robinson out of Texas, I think, is going to be your best bet. He is a talented running back. So before you block me, just know if you don't draft a running back here and if you don't get a good one in free agency, you're going to be probably at home once again from the playoffs without winning a Super Bowl.
I mean, I see where he says they need a linebacker. They do.
I do.
They let Tremaine walk and stuff, but man, they've needed a run game for years.
That's what they need the most. I think they need a running back more than they do a linebacker.
To an extent, I do agree with that because it's like, you got Josh fucking Allen. You're always going to be in the game.
Yeah.
And if you can take some pressure off him with a run game, like that's handy. But a linebacker, I feel like it's going to be linebacker or running back.
And let's be real. I think we know their first two picks of the draft. It's going to be one of the other first 1 and 2. I think it's going to be who's fallen off the board, who's still there. I mean, if a top end linebacker is here and they value him over Bijan, I can totally see them taking a linebacker first and then maybe settling for a Jahmyr Gibbs in the second round, or maybe trading up in the second round to maybe get a Bijan and just be okay with it. But I do have them going Bijan here because, frankly, for the last 2 years, Josh Allen's been your quarterback and running back, and that cannot sustain if you want to get deep into the playoffs.
I think their best play is to get a running back, but for here, I do have them going linebacker with Jack Campbell from Iowa, who's just my favorite linebacker in this draft. I love him a lot. I think this guy's going to be an absolute stud. But running back is what they fucking need, but they're not going to probably fucking get it at this point. All right, Cincinnati, 28th pick. How are we feeling about it?
I have DeJuan Jones from The Ohio State University.
Played with tackle a lot ever since Jonah Williams is now demanding a trade since they signed Orlando.
Yeah, I also have them getting the in-state kid, DeJuan Jones from the Ohio State University.
I love this. I love how you guys are saying "the." This is great.
Well, it's better than saying what Alex says about Florida State.
Hey, that's true. That's true. With my pick, there's two main things that they lost in the offseason. The two biggest players, in my opinion, that they did lose. One was running back Samaje Perine, and two was tight end Hayden Hurst. I have them recuperating at least one of them. They're getting Dalton Kincaid, tight end from Utah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna actually alley-oop. The alley-oop you just threw up. I'm gonna slam dunk it home, but I'm gonna add on a little extra in terms of the biggest players they lost, because one of the biggest players they lost also was Jesse Bates in the secondary. So for that, with my pick here, I've got them going actually on the defensive backside and getting Antonio Johnson from Texas A&M to kind of fill back up that spot.
Yeah, but wouldn't you guys think they need to get somebody to protect Joe Burrow? Because he still had a ton of sacks last year.
They're doing it in free agency.
Yeah,
they already came out and said they do not want to get any tackle or any offensive line.
And also, when it comes to drafting at this point with Cincinnati, like they're so hard to predict because it's like, hey, you need to protect Joe Burrow, and then it's just like, haha, let's go this. So it's like, yeah, there's a part of me that wants to believe they'll go offensive linemen, but nah, they're gonna go elsewhere.
On paper, coming into this past season, they did that. They got the offensive line they needed, but it just they never molded together.
Yeah. I will say, in terms of the weapons that you're talking about, I will say another pick here if he's sitting there is Bijan Robinson could be a potential pick here for Baltimore. I mean, not Baltimore, Cincinnati, because of the issues that we're seeing come out with Joe Joe Mixon at this moment, where it's like,
oh, that got dropped.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it got completely dropped.
Okay, because I know there was originally some issues that came out, and then there were some more issues just recently where there were gunshots at his home. Yeah, because there was two different situations. So I don't know. I could definitely see that being a possibility, but as of now, I've got Antonio Johnson going to Cincinnati. 29th pick with New Orleans. So for me, I've got Bijan Robinson going here. I think that will be the signaling flag that New Orleans is ready to move on from Alvin Kamara with the very serious issues that he's facing legally, and getting a stud running back that's still on the board. I feel like that's a great weapon for him to utilize. Bust out the wedding dresses, everyone. We got another Texas running back coming down to New Orleans.
I still think that the Saints, he might not be a starter, but I still have a prediction that the Saints will pick up Ezekiel Elliott in free agency.
Well, they just got Jamal. They just got
taking
Jamal.
a wide receiver here. What's that?
They got Jamal Williams. They did sign him.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
that is true. I have the Saints taking wide receiver here, Josh Downs from North Carolina.
I like that one. I like Josh.
I have them taking an edge. I have them taking Will McDonald out of Iowa State.
I like that.
I also have them taking Will McDonald the fourth from Iowa State, but I was very, very close to putting in Jahmyr Gibbs right here. I think with the way he plays, kind of reminds me of an Alvin Kamara. Very good out of the backfield, very good catching running back, but is still good enough to squeeze and play through the tackles. But I do have them taking Will McDonald here.
Okay. 30th pick. So for you guys, still Philly on the board here. What do you guys got Philly doing?
Cyrus Torrence, offensive line from Florida.
Okay.
My first two, I also had Osiris Torrance. I went to wide receiver on this one though. And my 4.0, I may go back to Osiris Torrance, but I went with Josh Downs out of North Carolina.
Okay.
It makes my pick seem a little less dumb that two people selected the same person as I did here. But what makes it dumb is that I picked him getting a receiver with the 10th overall pick. So I fucked up and had him getting another receiver here, which they don't need.
I mean, just in case the other one doesn't work out.
He's some extra insurance. Well. They're a little scarred from Jalen Rieger.
But yeah, I have them getting Josh Downs from North Carolina here.
Right. For me, with my Detroit Lions, since I had the trades happen earlier, I've got another slide finally coming to a close with edge rusher Miles Murphy sitting here on the board. Detroit grabbing him to pair alongside Aiden Hutchinson. All right, and lastly, the 31st overall pick, the Kansas City Chiefs. I've got them going an extra weapon, especially since Juju has now walked and signed with the Patriots. I've got them going wide receiver Zay Flowers from Boston College.
That's not a bad pick at all. But I kind of fell in love. I think it was Jacob that I kind of fell in love with this whole get a tight end thing right now. To back up and potentially replace
me, but okay.
To actually replace was that you, Shane?
Yeah,
that wasn't my prediction.
For some reason, I thought
Jacob's been totally against that the entire time.
I was against it, but at the same time, it's starting to make sense. But here's my opinion: if they don't go tight end now, I think they get my guy Tucker Kraft later on in the second, third round, whatever pick that is. But right here, if Dalton Kincaid is still on the board, I think you pull the trigger here. Not because you're not going to have faith in Travis Kelce, because obviously Travis Kelce's the best tight end in the world. I mean, he's by far the best. There is no doubt about it. So here I'm going to say Dalton Kincaid, but I also could see them getting Osiris Torrance out of Florida with this pick as well.
Let's be real here. If any team can run a 2 tight end system,
especially when they're both receivers,
it's Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yes.
You get a wide receiver tight end like Dalton paired with Travis. Yo, Patrick's going to have a field day.
But I really, guys, just because I'm a huge fan of Tucker Kraft. Don't know why, I just am. Because it's the South Dakota Jackrabbits, people. And I picked them to win the first game of the year, and they should have. And had he not been injured, they would have won that game. So anyway, but at the same time,
to Iowa.
Like selfishly, I want him to either be a Chief or a Cowboy, one of the two. But I don't think Jerry Jones is going to draft a tight end in the later rounds. I could be wrong.
But I will say, though, that name does sound like a Jerry Jones type of guy.
That is true.
It does.
Kraft. That sounds like a Jerry Jones guy, if I had to say so myself.
I agree.
But you also have the Patriots.
Yeah.
With their owner.
Who loves D2 and D3 and FCS. Like, they love it.
He loves them. Because he doesn't have to pay them anything.
That's so true. Oh no, I like the idea of KC getting like another tight end. I know Shane threw that in his. I think Shane, you throw it in 1.0 and 2.0 or just 1.0. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was 1.0 and 2.0.
I like the idea because it's like it's like you guys are saying. It's like if there's anyone that can run a 2 tight end set effectively, it would be KC. You know what I mean? Like if they got a guy like Dalton Kincaid, who's like a pure receiving tight end to the extent that he's a blocker, yeah, but he is a receiving tight end, right? Dude had like 16, 17 catches in one of his games late in the season. Yeah. We could potentially see. I would have to fact check this, but we could potentially see history and have 2 tight ends both eclipsing 1,000 yards on the same team in the same season. I don't know if that's ever been done.
I don't think it has been.
I feel like it probably hasn't. I feel like the list of 1,000-yard receiving tight ends is pretty small, and with that, I don't think there's ever been 2 on the same team. But I feel like it'd be possible. I really do, man. Patrick's gonna be slinging it to him all day. Let's go. I would love to see that.
I mean, I think honestly, either tight end here, right? I think if either one of them is available, Dalton or Michael, I think that he does get selected here.
Yeah.
Because even if Dalton's not there and Michael is sitting there at 31, I mean, what better tight end to groom a young tight end than possibly the greatest tight end of all time?
Right.
Right. And we sit there and say that Michael probably just doesn't have the best hands as far as compared to Dalton Kincaid, but who better to help him in his routes and catching and things like that than Travis Kelce? I mean, I think it's always been a great fit, but unfortunately I did go away from it in this draft, and I have them. I'm going to butcher this name, so forgive me. I have them selecting Felix and Nudike Uzama from Kansas State.
Great attempt, and we'll roll with it. I have no idea if it's right or not. Sounds right to me. Sounds right for my house. Man. So overall, there's our 3.0s locked in, ready to go. Got some interesting stuff going on. Got some slides going. Got a big trade going on in mine. With the Colts there at the 4th pick in Lamar Jackson, which probably won't happen, but I just wanted to put the nugget in people's brain that, hey, this could happen. We'll see. But yeah, 3.0 is locked in. How we feeling about it? Feel pretty good.
Frankly, my
Feeling great.
was pretty trash, but sorry.
There's always 4.0.
There's always 4.0.
Yeah, I mean, there's always 4.0. We've got a few more weeks before the first round, which we will be live for the first round. On the 27th. So looking forward to that. We'll be live for the whole first round as like we were last year. We'll try to get some guests in and stuff like that. I don't think there's like a hard plan or anything for next week's show. We're just going to do the show, and whatever we want to talk about, we'll talk about. We'll figure something out for next week. I think with all that, I'll go ahead and hit the music so we can get out of here. I know you've got some dinner plans, Ricky. Jacob, I know you're exhausted. I'm actually pretty exhausted.
I've got some other
stuff too.
As soon as we cut stream.
Yeah, like I don't blame you. I'm pretty tired too. I'm currently binging The Boys, so I need to keep going watching The Boys and chilling because I'm loving it right now. It's so fucking good.
Show.
Dude, it's so good. So I got to go back and keep watching it. So I did add the music to the board. That was very loud. My bad. All right. So, boys, last thoughts on anything as we get out of here? Floor is yours.
Go Hogs. Gonna be Connecticut. So there's that.
In your dreams.
No comment.
I
comment.
cannot wait for next week's show now.
No
I cannot wait.
comment.
I
Because
all
if
I
they
gotta say is
do
when was
win
last
and make
time
the
Ohio
Elite
State was
Eight,
in the
gentlemen,
tournament?
don't worry, it's the must bus. And why are you pissing on our Arkansas parade to begin with? We had no expectations in this NCAA tournament. You guys go piss on our parade?
Good.
Oh,
You
what I
should
do.
never have expectations in any sport.
Hey, that's not fair.
Hey,
yo.
that-
Those
hey,
are fighting words,
that's the
sir.
most
Have you
ruthless
seen
shit
our
I've ever heard,
our
bro.
indoor track
I
team
swear.
whooped everyone's ass out in the men's and in the women's division? Don't you be saying any sports, sir. How many teams did we have ranked in the top 25 last year? A bunch.
And also let it be known that other than the top major 3 sports, we are number 1 in overall national championships through all sports. So stuck
In
it.
all the
No
sports
comment on that one. I
matter.
have no clue.
45 national championships, bud. 45.
In all the sports that don't matter.
Hey, all sports matter. Every single one of them. That's why I root against Ohio State in every sport they have, including and up to gymnastics, swimming, bowling, whatever. I don't even know what all sports they have, but I root against them.
It's all right, Jacob. I've got your back,
So
man.
it does count, sir.
Yeah.
I've got your back, man. OH.
I am.
Let's go. All right. Thanks for listening. Until next time, guys. Have a good one. Bye.